All right. How's it going, everybody? This is Corey Lee, and I am back with another episode of the podcast here. And it has been one long road, literally one long road. So a lot of stuff has happened. We had the Charlie Kirk situation. We had some stuff, didn't we? I mean, I can't even sit here and count it all. I just know we had some stuff. All right. So I'm only going to do audio today, as far as y'all can see. That's kind of where we're going, is audio. And in my journey to doing audio, I do want to say that I am actually in the process of using what you call it, a new audio software. And so while I use this new software, I'm really just trying to get this all sorted out, because the sad thing about it is that I have no idea what I'm doing. I mean, it's not that I don't, but it's just my first day using this as a digital audio workstation for recording. I've always used Reaper. Reaper was free and open source. I mean, it wasn't free, it's just free to use indefinitely, but to own is not free. At some point, you want to get the license for Reaper because it's not free, right? But you can use it and it's fully functional as it's free, but it's just not, okay? So, I have been trying to learn FL Studio as my main vocal recording digital audio workstation. I've always used FL Studio to make beats, but not as a DAW. And because I paid all that dang on money for FL Studio, I'm like, I'm about to just use this and make this work for doing all my vocal work and voice stuff like that. So, yeah. All right. So, let's go ahead and get on to it, man. Shall we? I got to make some quick adjustments and then we can get on with the show here. Just some quick adjustments because I want to hear real time and not from the program, because the program's got this weird sound. It's not necessarily latency, but it almost sounds like I'm doubled as I'm talking. And I don't like that sound of doubled as I'm talking. So, yeah, so we can just, we can just roll the way we are. All right, so let's go ahead and get on with the Charlie Kirk situation. And the reason I want to talk about this is because if it wasn't for the fact that somebody had asked me a question, and they asked me quite a serious question, and that question was this: what do you think really happened with Charlie Kirk? What do I really think happened? Do I think somebody do I think somebody took him? Do I believe that it was the government? Do I believe it was Israel? Do I believe it was the left? Do I believe it was the right? And truth be told, I believe it was a combination of both the government and those people. Okay, and I want to use the word those people. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and go over the whole conversation me and this guy had. And it's a person that I know. I can't say his name or how I know him, but it's a person I know. Okay. And he started this conversation off with that. And so basically, toward the end of Charlie Kirk's life and career, he began to start having some questions about the things that he have been blindly supporting all this time. Never be a blind supporter of stuff, because you might not know that you are in support of the very people that are not that well in support of you. Sometimes we don't really see how a lot of the people we swear by are a pawn of a certain agenda, and not necessarily entirely, but a lot of their views can be used, to push things that would be detrimental for even that very person who's the one pushing it. Because let's just say if you swear by the right, that will automatically put you on the side of those other people. Okay. And I want to use the words those other people, the same people that Charlie Kirk was beginning to have some questions about toward the end of his life and career. Okay. And it's like, once you on the side of the left, that automatically puts you on the side of a lot of other agendas that may or may not even include those people. But I believe our entire government, the entire White House, has been sold to those people a long time ago, a very long time ago. So, long story short, it is my view that those people are responsible for the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Now, I understand that from the outside looking in, if you go with what the mainstream news say it do look like it was one of his own who just didn't like him because of whatever high school vendetta they could have had, or because of something he could have said. Like, Charlie Kirk was not assassinated just because he got on people's nerves and somebody didn't like him because of his free speech. Even though it really was that, but it wasn't that entirely. He was beginning to talk about some things that are very dangerous for a person like him to talk about. A lot of people made it sound like, oh, it's just because y'all don't like what he said about the Democrats. It's like, no, come on, man. No. Like, if you are going with that, you probably believe everything you hear on TV. If you are going with the fact that he was assassinated because he didn't like the Democrats and somebody's no. Okay. He put his mouth on those people. And look, I'm gonna be all the way honest with you. He was right to have his questions about those people. He was really right for that. I'm not saying that some of the things that, like, some of the questions he had was right, and I'm not saying that some of his solutions to the questions were right, and that's if he had any at all. But you should be allowed to have your doubts about some stuff. You should be allowed to have your questions. You should be allowed to wonder what's going on over here. Like, you should really be allowed to do that, because you know why? If your agenda is standing for the truth, it should have no problem with people's questions. Man, people question me about the Bible all the time. And you know what? I like it. I really do like it. Even if some of their questions sound as though they want it to be wrong. Right? And like, not a lot of people's questions are like that. I'm just saying, like, even if those questions are trick questions to kind of get me to sound like a crazy person, I like when people question the truth, because it opened up the doorway for me to actually answer those questions, even if they still walk away not believing it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that part is not my fault, but when people got questions about God, the word of God, stuff like that, like I welcome all of that. And I'm not against any of that at all. Like, so if you and your people and your agenda and stuff like that is actually right and true, what is so wrong with somebody having their questions? Shouldn't you welcome that? And see, but there's a thing about somebody spreading a lie and about somebody trying to get a lot of people to believe a lie. When you are trying too hard, that is easy to see. And when people notice how hard you are trying to make people believe you, even if you don't even make sense, you're just saying, you got to believe this because this is right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or if you don't believe this, then I'll take all your endorsements away. Or if you don't apologize, then I'll have you fired. It's like, come on, man. Look, people can see that. That's not hard to hide. And the last thing you really want is for people to pretend to believe you knowing they don't. And then you think you have the kind of leverage that you really don't have, all because we can see through the game. If anybody have one question about those people because they don't understand, that's anti-Semitic and you need to apologize. Like, wait. All I did was ask the question. I'm really confused for real. Nope. Your confusion is anti-Semitic and you need to apologize. How come I'm not allowed to be confused? If you really right about what you believe in, how come I'm not allowed to not know what's going on and want to be informed? Why? What's so wrong with this? And because that's your attitude about it, there's got to be something wrong with this. That's the same thing that Charlie Kirk was having toward the end of his life and career. I knew that, all right. Look. I have never heard of Charlie Kirk until the day of the assassination. Never. I never knew him by name. However, I did hear things he have said, but I didn't know it was him. In fact, even the things that I did hear that he have said, I never even seen a face. Because some videos I listen to on YouTube, I just listen to. I don't watch. Like I listen to more like podcast and more preaching style videos and educational videos that you really only benefit most of your watch time by just listening versus actually seeing what's going on. Okay. I don't watch a lot of action news or nothing like that. Or, I don't watch a lot of things. I listen to a lot of things. And I heard some things that he did say that did kind of come off pretty racist. Okay. And I'll get there too. All right. I will really get there too, but right now is not the time. And I'm not accusing Charlie Kirk of being a racist. It's just like, a lot of what he have said, it did kind of come off to be, quite racist. You know what I'm saying? Now, I believe a lot of his followers were racist, but to say that he was a racist, and there's only one thing holding me back from calling him that. Just one. Okay? Just one thing holding me back from calling him that. You want to know what it is? This is the one thing that truly hold me back from putting that label on a lot of people. Because I know they don't have the whole story. They have more questions than they have answers. And because their questions go unanswered, because they believe a lot of other lies, such as who the real Jews are, all they can have is their racism. And truth be told, if they had the whole story, they might have different points of views. If they had the whole story, they might have solutions rather than questions or complaints. If they knew everything they ought to know about the things they set themselves up as an authority to be able to put their mouth on, they might not even talk about it at all, to be honest with you. And I knew that Charlie Kirk was, I don't really want to call him a victim, but that's just seemed to fit the way of wording here. But I knew that he was a victim of half the story about the black community. I knew that he was a victim of the mainstream media propaganda's way of making us look like. I know that he was a victim of political agendas of what they make us look like. And he also lived in his own community bubble, and he grew up with his upbringing about things instead of, getting an understanding about stuff. And he probably didn't know what else to think, right? And that's as far as I'm going to go. I can't necessarily call him the R word, period, because maybe if he knew more about what he talked about, he probably would have different things to say. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and even black people don't know enough about black issues to even be able to talk about them at all. And I hear them talk about these things too much. And I'm like, you really don't know what you need to know to even be a black person speaking about black issues. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. So, my bad. I'm trying to find out where I was headed before I even went down this rabbit hole here. So, yeah, so in other words, as far as Mr. Kirk, like, you know what I'm saying? He like, he kind of rubbed me the wrong way before I knew who he was. But after I really started to listen to other things that he said, mainly about the political nation of Israel, I started to really understand that this is a guy that's confused. Like, this is a guy who is set up as an authoritative mouthpiece of confusion. And now he's starting to see that some of the cracks are starting to show. And yeah, and I do take him to be an intelligent person. Like, I don't think he was an idiot whatsoever. I really don't believe that. I really don't believe he was an idiot at all. Like, I believe he was a really smart guy, but I also believe he's quite arrogant too on the top of that. But I mean, most 30-year-olds are. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it was intentional, but I do know that he was a smart enough person. I mean, he's smart enough to not be a Democrat. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, it is what it is. I mean, like you want to reach a point in your life when you smart enough to not be political at all, because all of these political parties and agendas, they all have stuff that really are not right. And what I mean not right is that there is no righteous side of the government. There is no righteous left and I mean, like, there is no righteous right and wicked left. No, it's all wicked. And once you choose a side on these things, you have sided with wickedness, whether you believe it or not. right? Like just because one side of the government don't stand for um wickedness number one doesn't mean that same side of the government don't stand for wickedness number two. It's all wicked. And you want to get to a point to where you could see through all of that. And I believe he was getting to a point to where he was starting to see through it. He kept asking about the Epstein files, who was on the Epstein files apparently or allegedly, Donald Trump, and it was all a matter of time before Charlie Kirk started to question everything he believed in. I seen him going down that road as I started to listen to some of his other stuff. It was only a matter of time before he woke up. But I believe that a lot of people like him and a lot of people who are in his position, they are unable to be free thinkers completely, but also publicly in the same platform they have. I believe in order to maintain the platform they have to keep going with what they started, or else they would be dethroned or assassinated. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, unfortunately, that's the world we live in this matrix. You know, once you feed the people this, you got to keep feeding the people that, in order for the people who write your checks and the people who endorse you and the people who donate you money to keep supporting you. Like, you know what I mean? So enough about the Charlie Kirk stuff, but he did ask me that, and he asked me who do I think took him out? Those people. No, not Trump and them, because Trump and them are a puppet of those people. So let's get to that. I don't know if y'all know this, but the United States is not a sovereign nation anymore. And it has not been for a very long time. Since the Federal Reserve first started, the US was under the control of those people. You know, what's that favorite slogan they be saying? He who owns the gold owns the world, or he who controls the money controls the kingdom, or something like that. That's pretty much kind of what I'm talking about here. Those people, and because the US cannot pay its debt, it has to pay by surrendering its country. But instead of just, outright world domination up front, they have to continue their agenda under the disguise of making America great again. While they tell you they're making America great again, America is not even America anymore. And it won't be, ever, really. And it's only going to be a matter of time before patriotic people find out that this is no longer the land of the free and the home of the brave. I mean, just look at Charlie Kirk, for instance. Like, that guy was assassinated, and I truly believe it was because he had his doubts about those people, and they're not even from here. I mean, yeah, like they might have blamed it on somebody that looked like him. They might have blamed it on somebody who supported the side of the government that he did. They might have blamed it on an American. But was that really who the hit came from? Or was that just the hired gun to do it? Or was that just the fall guy, really? I mean, like, you don't know what they could have told that guy that they could have arrested as the like, what you call a person that commit the crime, not a criminal, but The man. I mean, but you don't know what they could have told the gunman. If you don't take the fall, then I'm coming after your mom and dad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know what could have went on. I mean, bad enough, like he got the balls to turn himself in, but not cooperate or not confess. If you're going to turn yourself in, why not confess? Like, if you just going to not confess, you should have just been on the run. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he don't even look like he was happy about what he did. He looked like he was forced to be there. Like his whole life was over about something that he obviously thought of and calculated for a while. You know what I'm saying? That took time to set up a shot like that. I'm sure he ain't just find out at the last minute Kirk was going to be in Utah and just decided to go grab his rifle and figure out where he was going to stand, how he was going to take the shot, how he was going to blend in, how he was going to get in with the gun. I believe that shot was lined up way before Kirk even knew he was going to Utah. I believe Kirk got sent to Utah specifically because the shot was lined up. Like, do y'all know what I'm saying? Like, I don't believe that young man just found out, oh, he gonna be in Utah. Yeah, now was my chance. No, I believe they said you supposed to go to Utah because tonight is your last night and it's all set up for you in Utah, but he just didn't know anything. I mean, Kirk didn't know anything about it. You know what I'm saying? So I waited a while to talk about the Charlie Kirk situation. But another thing I want to say is this, like, do y'all see how quickly they turned their anger toward the black community after Kirk's death? How quick that was. Soon it's like as soon as it happened, shut down all the black colleges. For what? What did they do? I thought you arrested a white guy for it, not a black person. Right? Like days later, now you got black people hanging from trees in colleges. Now you got people, saying that they're going to go door to door, street to street and clean out the country. Right? Like, we know what you're saying. Like, just be honest. It's not like we don't hear you anyway. Just be straight up. So, enough of that Kirk guy, but not all the way. Long story short, what I really want to say about that guy is that he was right for having his questions, but he was too deep in to playing ball with the wrong crowd. He might not have known that it was the wrong crowd. A lot of times you don't know, but he was just too deep in with running with the wrong crowd. And you want to know who I can also say this about? Miss Owens. Oh, Miss Owens. Look. I believe Miss Owens is in a much, much more dangerous game than a lot of people I have seen in a long time. Like, Miss Owens is too deep in to the absolute wrong game to play because she's on a mission of both sides, controlled opposition. She's hired as an opposer, but in a much more controlled fashion, so that way she could be set up as an agent of chaos, even if she don't even know that's what you're doing. Look, even if she don't even know that's what she's doing. It's like them two were like twins in this game. Like, you know what I mean? And I really got to keep Miss Owens in my prayers because, yeah, I mean, she will end up with a target on her back someday. But I really believe that she's being used to make people who talk about some of the stuff she talk about to eventually look crazy. Like, I don't know if she's going to end up doing something one day that would then make everybody that talk about some of the things she say to look bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what her long game is, but I can tell there is one. And Miss Owens, just like you told Charlie Kirk that he is too smart to be a Christian, okay? Miss Owens, you are too smart to be a Catholic, okay? Because the one thing that Miss Owens really don't know about herself, the one thing that she really don't know about herself is that she is a real biblical Israelite of the tribe of Judah or Benjamin or Levi. If you're from the United States, that is. And she don't know this. Like, she got a lot of things to say about Israel, but she don't know that she is a real biblical Israelite. She don't know this. Maybe she do know this and just don't want to talk about it, but there is no way you can know this and stay in Catholicism. And just like you told him, you're too smart to be a Christian. Look, he was better off a Christian than you are a Catholic. I'ma just be all the way straight up with you. You cannot pray to Mary and serve God. You cannot worship saints and serve God. Like, you cannot, you cannot believe in the Eucharist and serve God. Like, those things are not compatible. Now, sometimes some people might have to come up through those religions and it eventually lead them on the right track. Like, I'm not against the way somebody got to come up, right? It might be a reason why God has allowed a person to start one thing and then it turned into something else. Because I came up through Christianity. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I still use that word interchangeably with my faith because, like, that's what a lot of people can understand. But me personally, I have since grown to just say, hey, look, as far as the name that you call it, look, like, that don't even matter. Because, like, what I really don't want to do is I don't want to identify with the same hypocritical mess you see all over TV today. Like, I'm not like Kenneth Copeland and Paula White. Like, I don't believe the same messy stuff they believe. And I don't believe in white Jesus either. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't believe in prosperity gospel. I don't believe that the Sabbath day is irrelevant. I don't believe that God changed his dietary laws. Like, I don't believe a lot of stuff that Christianity believes, but yet I do believe in most of what it believes, except some of the things it say isn't relevant for our time period, right? So I believe more than what Christianity stands for today. And I also don't have a lot of the other pet doctrines attached to my faith, like New Apostolic Reformation and denominations and, you know, like just a lot of that church culture ish stuff, like, you know, tithing and all of that stuff. Like, I don't have a lot of that stuff attached to my faith that a lot of Christianity stand for. And no, I'm not a black Hebrew Israelite either. I am black, I am a Hebrew, and I am an Israelite, but I'm not in that religion. I'm just a believer in the Holy Scriptures. I'm a believer in the Messiah, who most people know as Jesus Christ. I'm a believer. I'm a son of God. I was bought and paid for by the blood of the Messiah, you know, through the finished work on the cross. I don't worship crosses. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Like, it's a lot of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But like, Miss Owens, you are too smart to be playing the game that you're playing. And I get it. When you're that deep into something that's paying you big money, it's hard to see it as wrong. It's hard to see it as dangerous. But you know, I have been seeing them little hand symbols that you've been making. I've been seeing that stuff the last couple months. And for the longest time, I just thought I was tripping until I just seen another content creator the other day point it out too. I'm like, so I'm not the only one that caught that. Okay. I'm not the only one that caught that. All right, all right, all right. I'm just making sure I wasn't judging her all based on like, you know, like you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying not to judge her. Like, you know what I mean? But I really just got to keep it real, Miss Owens. Like, another thing is, man, like, you too cute to be playing that game too, though. Like, you a Barbie doll. Like, for real. Like, look, you need to just wake up and get out of the mess you in if you still can. I don't know if you took the oath. I don't know if you are too far into the game you plan to be able to back out. But you are too intelligent, and you are definitely way too cute to be doing this. Like, honestly. Like, I mean, you could be a powerful tool in the hands of the living God, but you got to come out of that mess. Like, you really do. You just got to come out of that. Like, honestly. And I don't want to see you end up in a position to where words like over my dead body, and I'm sure that can be arranged, end up becoming true. Because a lot of the times, these little podcasts that people be doing, like her, a lot of times they be scripted. Like, they be giving her a script. Like, they give people a script on what to say in their podcasts. And sometimes they can have you pronounce your own fate in the script that they give you. A lot of the times they do that. They play on you. They use you to judge you. And you better wake up while you still can. And you know what? I'm going to make sure I tag you in this video. I'm going to really make sure I tag your name in this video. And I'm going to antagonize you until you hear me. I'm going to literally bother you until you hear me. And that's if, like, you know, you give small creators like me the time of day, right? But please hear me. You are a biblical Israelite. You need to come out of false religion. You really do. And you need to come out of playing both sides. You need to come out of playing games with Satan. You really do. Like, you need to come out of, like, whatever it is you in. I don't know if it's the guy you married to that might, who might, like, be your handler behind closed doors that's keeping you in the false religion, or that's making sure you don't go off course, or just stuff like that. Because a lot of these celebrity marriages, they really be like that. They be like the people that's there to make sure that they do everything they were set up to do. And if they start having different thoughts or second thoughts or stuff like that, they get told on, by the very people they believe they in love with. Like, it has happened to a lot of celebrities all along the trail. Like, don't believe that these celebrity marriages are based on real love. Like, they might be based on real love from one person, and they might genuinely fall in love for real, but their allegiances, like to their secret societies and their agencies and their labels and all of this other stuff, it's a lot stronger than their allegiance to their spouse, because a lot of times their lives be on the line. I mean, it's got to be hard to be a celebrity and you are in those kind of things. And that's if You are. Like, maybe you really don't know what you're doing, but I find that hard to believe because I have seen you make way too many demonic hand symbols over the course of me seeing pictures of you on the internet, over the course of me watching some of your videos, seeing clips of some of your videos and other people's videos. I see too many red flags from you to assume that you have not, made friends with the wrong crowd by now. And for you to say things that are as controversial as you say, and your channel ain't been deleted off YouTube, like, let me say some of the things you say. My channel would be deleted off YouTube. Yours, 4 million subscribers. Ain't no way you in a position like that going after the people you go after, and that's if that's what you're really doing. I mean, maybe you could be a hired hitman and you go after who they tell you to go after. Maybe they allow you to do it so that way one day when you go completely off the rails for real, everybody that believe even the truth you tell will end up looking like crazy people. And I really believe that that might be what you really set up to do. I think you are really set up to make truthers look crazy. You just ain't went crazy yet. Like, I really believe that that is what your game is, even if you don't know that that's what the game is. You just don't know. Come out of this mess, Miss Owens. Please do. Like, for crying out loud, a mind like yours do not need to be playing ball with the devil. You have no business in there. You'll be used up for all you got, chewed up and spit out like, heck, I don't know. Like, what do people chew up and spit out? Right? Like the 25-cent bubble gum that run out of flavor in 30 seconds. I mean, you got less seconds worth of flavor than the amount of cents it cost. And they use you up just like that. And after they used you up, after they done paid you all their money, they'd then turn around and absorb your bank account right back into their companies and organizations and all of that. And none of that money will go down to your kids or whatever. That's how they do these celebrities. Honestly, like, really keep an eye on your spouse. I mean, he could really be a good man for real. I mean, maybe you dangerous to him and him not being secretly your handler. Like, I really believe a lot of these celebrity spouses really be. The quiet ones behind the scene, the one that's not as famous. Oh, no, they could really be there to make sure that person stay in line. Watch yourself. Like, watch your drinks. Watch your food. Like, I wouldn't even have food delivered. Honestly, I wouldn't. Honestly, heck, I mean, watch your gas tank. Like, like look up underneath your car. Anything. No, because you might have an enemy in your own house who you sleep next to, who you have kids with. And you don't know that. And I don't know why, but I really feel this about her husband. And I'm not trying to accuse this guy of anything. I don't know him. I haven't did my research on him. I don't even know what he do for a living. I don't even know like what his voice sound like. And I do want to specify, I'm not accusing him. I hate being taken for something I'm not too. I do. If he's 100% innocent and it's just her putting his life in harm's way, I am so sorry. But from my experience, from my point of view, from my research, from my astute observations, a lot of the celebrity marriages like yours, they never really are based on real love, and that's it. A lot of times they get set up to cross paths with you. and you end up taking the bait. And let's just say y'all met on normal circumstances. They end up being approached behind the scenes to report every instance of a second thought you might be having about things. Like, you know what I'm saying? You really need to be careful. You really need to come out of Catholicism. And you really need to watch the road you're headed down. In fact, when you do start having second thoughts, don't even tell nobody. Just have them thoughts. Have them to yourself. Until you really know what the game plan is. You need to really know the living God for real. You do. Because now is not the time. Now is not the time to be half in and half out. Now is not the time to be. Honestly, this day and age is not even a good time to be a celebrity. Look, it's just really not. A lot of y'all think these people's lives be so good, but really you don't see what kind of a slave they are behind closed doors. I mean, they still get to go on vacation when they're told they can have a vacation. They clock out for the day when they're told they can clock out for the day. They just got $1 million. And they still got the same worries in life everybody else got. They just got $1 million. Except now they need to worry about their life too. And you don't want to end up going down this road. You are already too far in, and you have already made enemies with people who are very ruthless. And as if they didn't hire you to play that role. So that way you can end up doing something crazy one day. And then everybody's saying, look. And this is the same kind of person who criticized Israel. That means everybody who criticized or questioned Israel must be just like Candace Owens, who did this crazy thing or said this crazy thing or like anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I really kind of see that that's what's going on. Like, they're not going to have you debating them rabbis and stuff like that, and you just get away with what you saying. And you in false religion too, and you ain't no target. Something wrong with this. Something real wrong with this picture. Real wrong. Now I know, look, like, my entire intentions behind this episode today have, it's kind of taken a turn. That's just another reason, like, for another recording. I didn't intend to come up here and talk about Kirk and Candace, but I guess that's what, today. Now, I did mean to talk about Kirk. I meant to talk about so many more things than that. I just might really have to leave it here. I wanted to talk about the conversation that I had with the guy. But you know what? I'm kind of glad I got to this point. I really am. I'm kind of glad I just let God take the wheel sometime and me not figure out how to always stick to a script. Because the more I always try and stick to a script, the more things I wish I would have said. The more I wish I would have let that let this podcast take a turn somewhere else. Right? Like, I might as well go ahead and milk everything I have on the top of my head for what it's worth. And we could just release another episode and I can get to the rest of the details. Because I really wanted to talk about the Bible, the Israelites. Who is and who isn't the Semitic people. What's really going on in this world? Why America is not really a sovereign nation anymore. and who is really becoming most duped by America. And you know what? Like, I might as well get back to that topic about who is really becoming most duped by America. And I really do feel sorry for these people because they don't know what position they're in. I already said America is not a sovereign nation. It has been hijacked by fascists a long time ago by those people who say they are Jews and are not, but are of a synagogue of Satan. Well, you know, the same thing Candace talk about, right? The same point of views Charlie was beginning to have before some things happened in his life. Who's really going to become most duped by America in the end are white Americans, patriots. I mean, not just white Americans, but very patriotic people. It's going to really break their hearts when they find out that even our very own president is a servant of those people, bought and paid for, and can't do anything but what he's told. Well, he's a billionaire. Why would he do that? Look, you really believe in money? Huh? But like, do you really believe the more money somebody have, the more freedom from having masters they have? But like, do you really think that? This is what I mean. A lot of these people who believe in the American dream, a lot of these people that buy into the celebrity life, sorry, a lot of these people who take the bait, land of the free, home of the brave, stuff like that stuff don't exist no more. I don't know if y'all know this, but that stuff is over, but they're using it up for what it's good for to keep you off guard. Just so that way you don't pay attention to what's really going on. And by the time you really find out that your country has been sold out a long time ago, it will be so devastating that you won't even want to believe it. Or if you do believe it, it will shatter the foundation of everything you spent your life standing for. The same thing I saw in Charlie. The same thing. He just didn't get enough time to fully get there. He just didn't get enough time to fully get around to that point. I kind of wish he had at least 2 more years. Honestly, like if it was gonna happen eventually, if the guy would have at least had 2 more years. I mean, I didn't want what happened to him happen at all. I don't like seeing that happen to people. I really don't at all. Like I don't like when somebody's father is taken away from them in that manner. Like I don't condone what happened to that man. Even if he, like even if he didn't really like black people. Somebody said, well, that football player paid for everything for his kids, so how could he not like black people? No, you mean, how could black people not like him? It's not like he paid everything for the football player, right? I think it's different. Like, you know what I'm saying? But still, man, I still keep his family in my prayers. all that other stuff, but I know when, I know when something is not right. And even though the guy did stand for a lot of things that made total sense, but like some of the very things I believe in, but it was just a little leaven in the whole lump. But he was beginning to morph. I seen it. And you want to know who else seen it? His leaders. They knew he wouldn't shut up about the Epstein files. He wouldn't shut up about Israel. And Candace is going the same route. I mean, she been going the same route. I mean, come on, Candace, for crying out loud. Like, do you really think that you, as a black woman, is going to be given a fair chance in this world, in the game you playing? Honestly, what you think, you going to be the lucky one to survive? Huh? What you think, like you are better than Michael Jackson or Kanye? Huh? Like, you seen what they did to Kanye, right? I mean, the guy went crazy, ain't been the same ever since. Every now and then he come to himself, but it don't last no longer than a couple months. I mean, not only are you black, but a woman too. Like, come on. Like, look, like, just come to yourself. Like, honestly, like, just get real. And stop thinking you can, continue this little charade you playing. And might not even know you playing it. Always got to say that, because you might not really believe this is a charade. And you might really believe you're on some righteous mission and don't even know you being duped. I mean, you being used to be duped and can't even see it. And that's the same thing a lot of Americans are going to find out. They're being used to be duped. After they convince white America to do their dirty deeds, they're then going to come and make slaves out of the whole country. And I don't know if a lot of people know this, okay? And I want to specify this because I heard one of my favorite content creators kind of making some comments about this yesterday and saying that our problem is white supremacists, not what's going on in Israel. Yeah, that's true. What's going on in Israel is not our problem, but the people who claim to be those people were the leaders and spearheaders of white supremacy. They owned more black slaves than even white people did. They had sugar plantations with black slaves bigger than New Jersey. They were the ones who originally started the transatlantic slave trade. And the Rothschilds funded it. And the Rothschilds is of the same bloodline. That's why the Rothschilds gave them that land. They are of the same bloodline. Those people were the originators and the masters and rulers of white supremacy. They own the secret societies. They own the Freemasons. They own the Boulets and all this other stuff. I mean, bad enough, they own the industries that our people become a part of and sell their soul to the devil. White supremacists is not as much of our problem as it is like it is a problem. Like, don't I don't want to take that away. It's just not a problem all by itself. Those people who claim to be Jews and are not, but are of a synagogue of Satan, they are single-handedly responsible for why we even got sold into slavery in the first place. They were the ones that said, come on, let us all cut them off from being a nation. I mean, it actually makes sense. They're the ones that went over there and took the land. They took the name. They took the identity. Why wouldn't they had been the problem? That then out came white supremacy from that. It seemed like the whiter the Jew is, the richer they are. And the more brown they are, the poorer they are. Or they just good for being a soldier over there or something like that. But and I'm not a racist, okay? Like, I hate to even use language like this, but that don't take away the existence of these issues. I have to say this. Or else I can't really point out what's really going on to you. I really can't. And let's just say Donald Trump is a white supremacist. Who is Donald Trump a slave to? Israel. The Jews. Every time they got a problem, he can't help but to run to the rescue. As much as he said, I don't want a war, I don't want a war, I don't want a war, they drug him in it. Anyway, he's really afraid of having a war with them. Because he remembered what they did to 25 million Christians in Russia during the Bolshevik Revolution. He remembered how they single-handedly crippled Germany and tortured its citizens that made Hitler mad enough to do what they did to him. Oh yeah, he heard about all that stuff already. The last people he want a problem with is them. I think it's time for everybody to wake up and realize America has been sold out. And they will pick off y'all celebrities one by one until they make you fear them. They will pick off y'all's favorite American patriots one by one until they make you bow the knee to them. And you think those are God's people? No, those are the devil's people. And for as long as American Christianity still believe this lie, it will eventually serve Satan as Jesus. I mean, I could see all the dots connecting. I could see exactly how that is going to add up to that at some point. All you got to do is believe you owe them unquestioned loyalty because you found the first lump of clay you could who called itself the Jews. And you automatically assume that that's the people the Bible was referring to as God's chosen people. Just because they're called the Jews does not mean they are the Jews. As if the book of Revelation don't also say there are those who say they are Jews and are not. It didn't even say there are those who say they are Israel and Judah. No, the Jews. We don't call ourselves the Jews. Those of us who really woke up to our identity. Like, you don't hear us calling ourselves the Jews. We say we're Israelites. We're Israel. Not the Jews. Well, the Bible says if you bless Israel, you'll be blessed. But just because, okay, look, all right, I can start a gang tomorrow and I can call it Israel. Do that mean you bless us too because we're Israel? I can start a social club tomorrow and call it Israel. Do that mean you just start throwing all your money at us? Huh? Do that mean you just let us get away with murder? As if the Bible did not say Jerusalem will be trampled over by the Gentiles until the age of the Gentiles be fulfilled. We're still in the age of the Gentiles. As long as this is still church age, New Testament church age, this is the age of the Gentiles. There isn't supposed to be any real Israel or Judah in the land right now until Christ send out his angels to gather his elect from the four winds. When the last time you seen angels popping up and doing that? And you can't say the Rothschilds is the angels, them devils. Those people are the opposite of us. Every one of our curses, they have the opposite. But we got cursed to be the tail, they're spearheading the world. But we got scattered into captivity, they holding people captive. Look, man. Wake the heck up, please. And I know it's too much to take in at once. Because how could I ever see these black people who's been at the bottom of society as the elect? No. I would rather believe any lie but that. Have it your way. I actually heard somebody say that before. I'm like, okay, well, just have it your way. Go ahead and believe any lie. Then. Because those people who refuse the truth, those people who would rather believe lies, those people who refuse to retain God in their knowledge will eventually be given over to a reprobate mind. And is the lie you rather believe worth a reprobate mind? Because then people can't be saved. Heck, I mean, like, don't you know that a black Messiah was also a stumbling block to me? I'm like, you don't think I had something personal in my heart toward God when I started reading through them curses and got mad? Mad? Like, I'm just as mad as y'all is to hear this. Like, I didn't want this to be true. Heck, that made me mad at God. I'm like, I didn't even do nothing. Like, I didn't do what they did. They brought these people under the curse. I didn't even ask to be here. Like, I didn't even know I was under a covenant. And I got to live like this. Like, I didn't even ask to be born black. Like, come on. Like, do y'all really not think that was, it wasn't as big of a problem to me as it could sound like to you? Like, no, you mean to tell me these people I've been racist toward all this time is really the chosen people of God? Oh, no. See, I can't believe that. I couldn't either. Until I got woke up to it. Like, then it was another story. I'm like, now what can I really do about being just woke up to it? It just one day just made sense. And I'm like, how come I can't shake this? 'Cause it's true. I didn't even want it to be true. But I didn't know how to believe it either. I just knew it kind of made sense. But I'm like, yeah, like whatever it is, it is. It don't matter. And something just said, bro, that matter. Like, you really need to look again. And so as long as y'all keep believing this stuff, like, look, as long as y'all keep believing in opposite Israel as Israel, a lot of people gonna be in trouble. And that's why they trying too hard not to allow mainstream voices to question their authority. That's why they trying too hard to keep the same lies going. We've been attacked. We've been attacked. We've been attacked. We got to get the Palestinians off the land. No, you're a bunch of murderers. That's what you are. A bunch of thieves, liars, and murderers. Like, I'm sorry about the Holocaust, but you're not going to use the Holocaust as a reason to make the world owe you. As if the Bolshevik Revolution wasn't worse. And as if the transatlantic slave trade that you single-handedly started wasn't twice as bad as the Bolshevik Revolution. Wait, no. Not even twice as bad. 4 times as bad as far as the amount of deaths that took place. And let's not talk about the length of time it went on, too. And so, like, if I'm really thinking, it's like more like, heck, like almost 20 times as bad. Because the amount of recorded deaths were 4 times more. But what about the ones that weren't taken account of? What about the ones that died on the way here? I mean, like, you don't even count the people that ain't been documented that was actually born here. And you spearheaded that whole thing, but you want to make everybody owe you because of what Hitler did. Like, everybody don't owe you the right to shut up about everything you do because the Holocaust. But like, I get it. It was bad. And I don't take anything away from that at all. But come on, just like y'all tell us to be quiet, the past is the past, get over it. Right? Like, let me mention slavery. Oh, that was long ago, get over it. Oh, okay. All right. All right, all right, all right. Okay. All right. I see what's going on here. Everybody carry on. Just keep doing what y'all doing. And we'll see who right. And we'll see who wrong. Peace.